Greetings, Goldfish. Today we do donuts with the strange freaks and millionaires of Atlantic City and embalm with the undertakers of Detroit. Only thing I'll say is, you don't need 20 wagons. Freaking back.
We're so freaking back. Hey Blake, did you know there was cheesecake on a stick?
Actually, funny you asked about that, Kendra. Yes, I did know that there was such a thing as cheesecake on a stick.
Oh, I had no idea. You never told me.
I honestly opted not to tell you.
Why is that?
Because I wanted to hog all the cheesecake on the stick for myself.
All over the world? All of the cheesecakes on all of the sticks?
What, you saying I can't do that?
You're not nice.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, I'm Kendra.
And I'm Blake.
And this is
Ghost of the Gazette,
where all news brings on new voices.
And where forgotten headlines come back to life.
I think you've done that one. We need a different voice.
Where forgotten headlines come back to life.
That's a little different.
Just slightly different. Just variations on variations.
Okay. Just make sure that, you're not repeating accents and voices. Okay.
What day is it?
This is just like today.
Yeah.
Oh, today's July 13th. Anyways, episode 21, actually.
21.
Also, 21. We are now legal in America.
Oh, finally.
I just did the Trump fingers.
Legal in America. It's something that he would definitely say. You're now legal in America. Anyway.
You shouldn't be talking about legal. Anyways. Today, we are traveling to the year 1895, and we'll be talking about stories that take place in Detroit/England-ish.
Oh, Detroit, Englandish.
Detroit, Englandish. Did you know England was in Detroit and vice versa?
Ish. New-ish. As well as Atlantic City. My story takes place in Atlantic City.
This one's going to be wild.
It is going to be wild.
It's going to be wild.
It's going to be a wild one. We also have some extra extras for you guys at the end. Stay tuned to those extra extras.
They're also wild.
They're really fun. We love doing the extra extras.
I have actually some crazy ones, and I feel like people should be talking about them a little more than not talking about them at all.
Interesting.
I know.
Should we just skip the whole episode and go to the extra extras?
Honestly, kind of.
No, I love my story too much.
You did work hard on it.
I worked really hard on it.
I also worked hard on mine too. Don't forget.
I won't forget. You're a hard worker and you're a really good worker.
But you did really work hard on this one.
This one I did a ton of research. Do you want to jump right in?
I want to talk about cheesecake on a steak.
Okay.
On a steak.
You're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know about this. You're not supposed to know about cheesecake on a stick. On a steak.
Steak. We went to a food truck
festival.
We went to a food truck
festival. And
We're always eating.
We had cheesecake on a stick. And it was good.
Tell me your story.
So annoying. All right, Kendra. My story today comes from perhaps the coolest name for a newspaper ever.
Oh.
And we've had some cool newspaper names.
Yeah.
This is The Blade.
Ooh.
Out of Nephi, Utah.
I've never heard of. Are you sure it's pronounced Nephi?
It could be Nephi.
Nephi.
I'm not willing to do the research.
I think you should. That's kind of rude.
I'm pretty sure it's Nephi, actually. Nailed it. Nephi.
It is Nephi.
Yeah.
Nephi. Rhymes with Wi-Fi. Okay.
Rhymes with Wi-Fi, actually. But our story does not pertain to Mormons. No, this story pertains to heathens, strange freaks,
folk,
millionaires, and the rich of Atlantic City. My headline was, quote, "He has money to burn. Strange freaks of millionaire Drouin. He throws big money into the little to the little urchins, not into the little urchins."
What is this guy doing?
Like a carnival game, like throwing money into urchins. So that's a lot to take in.
Yeah, I'm also tired and loopy, so
that's that's honestly perfect for this story.
I'm literally just thinking of urchins with money just falling into them.
Little urchins, I think, are
they're those
street
little
urchins.
Round things, right?
Yeah, but like he's not throwing money to urchins, little urchins, like street urchins, like children that are little orphan children in the 1890s.
Why are they called urchins? Why do they use the term urchins for that?
I did so much research for this story. Can you not derail me in the first second? Stop Googling. The term originally meant hedgehog.
Does AI overview?
Starting in the 16th century, the word was adapted as slang for small, scuffy, or mischievous street children who roamed in packs, unkempt and prickly, like the small wild animals.
Okay, I just wanted to see where like the comparison was. Really, we're good.
Mystery solved.
Good.
But there will be some little street urchins in this story.
Cute.
As I researched and delved deeper into the story, I got hooked. Nothing absolutely really insane. Well, there's some crazy things, but I just loved researching this story as a whole. I got very into it.
That's so fun.
So our listeners are in for a treat because this is the definitive story of Edward Drouin, Atlantic City millionaire, the second, quote unquote, Count of Monte Cristo, and the self-proclaimed king of the world.
So sick.
And this is his downfall.
Main character syndrome.
Yeah, this is great. That's it's definition of main character syndrome.
I'm here for it.
So the ending of the story will also surprise you, so stick around.
I'll be here. I literally can't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
I literally can't. By law, I can't leave.
Side note, you can't really find this story on Google. You can maybe ask Google Gemini and stuff to do little facts, but there's no Wikipedia pages. There's no other things. This was all research done through the newspapers.
So you're bringing him back to life.
Yes, as he deserves.
Yes. Okay.
It's Monday, March 4th, 1894. A man in a light alpaca fur coat, flannel shirt, and tan-colored boots races a wagon dragged behind spirited horses down the Atlantic City ocean front.
That sounds like somebody we know.
I painted a picture. It does sound like our friend, Maddie Alex.
Who doesn't listen to this
main
podcast
character
for sure.
Maddie on Instagram.
Main
it's
character
very
Maddie.
Edward Drouin energy.
And he is wearing a fur coat. Anyways, go ahead.
Edward Drouin, late 30s or early 40s. I kind of got conflicting reports on his birthday. Hollow-cheeked, blonde hair slicked back under a cloth cap and large mustache flapping in the wind, is a new resident of Atlantic City. He stands up on the wagon, whipping the horses, pushing them faster and faster. Drouin weaves, turning left and right among the open beach, and pulls up under the Atlantic City boardwalk and is immediately greeted by promenaders. People walking upon the promenade, upon the pier.
It's having a good time.
So many people came to see what was the commotion that a policeman feared that the pier would collapse. Ooh. He immediately seized Edward to take him away, but the millionaire, quote unquote, asserted his rights as a free American citizen.
Get him.
He then said it was a police's job to disperse the crowd. Not wrong.
Not wrong.
These people came to me.
Yeah, he's just doing his thing.
I'm just vibing
if you want
over
to
here,
prance
going
around on a
fast.
beach with your horses and your fur coat, you should be allowed.
It's your God-given American right to do that.
It's your God-given American right to do that.
He agreed to appear at police headquarters whenever summoned. March 1984 was just the beginning of Edward Drouin's reputation in Atlantic City.
Fun.
Drouin and his wife Emily had a handsome cottage on the beach across from the famous Traymore Hotel in Atlantic City. It was this massive, sprawling hotel that is no longer there.
Sad.
It is just like apartment buildings and parking lots now.
So gross. I hate the modern day.
Yeah. One day, he appeared on his porch in a flannel shirt, tall cowboy boots, a sombrero, and a double-barreled shotgun on his lap. This was a high-traffic area for a lot of people. Many people saw him and crossed to the other side of the street and went on their ways.
Yep.
And this guy also flaunted his cash. A paper cost $1. He paid $5 just because. He was known to pay double and sometimes even triple to the various shop owners without even asking. They'd be like, hey, this necklace, yeah, it's $2. He's like, here's $6.
Here, I'll give you 10.
I'll give you 10. I'll
Keep
give you 15.
Change.
He would pay extra to send messenger boys on the most trivial errands, that's a quote, sending them across the city. At one point, he hired the entire workforces of the Western Union and the Postal Telegraph. This is somewhere around 50 young boys running around Atlantic City, delivering meaningless messages to colleagues back and forth. And he would do this all the time. He would wake up in the morning. He's like, I kind of want to make it so no one else can send a telegraph in Atlantic City today. And he hired every messenger in the city.
Whoa, that's funny.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. And he would just have them send a note to his friend or colleague
and
being
it's just hi.
Yeah. Had them running errands all day, doing nothing,
so
paying them well, tipping them well.
Kind of a fun job to be like a messenger boy.
Later on,
I'm sure it was rough.
Messenger boys would clamor to be his messenger boy because he always tipped in an obscene amount of money.
Yes, it sounds like
He would light cigars with $10 bills.
Wow.
And this is the 1890s.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a lot of money. He used to place a gold coin under the heel of his boot. The first kid that was first street urchin that would successfully lift his boot and got the coin would get to keep the money. He also tried to buy a new horse-drawn carriage, and it was late. So he went to the business he bought it from, and he bought the business.
What?
And he started running it himself.
I mean, I'm sure you'll get into like how he got his money, but I am definitely...
And then there's another thing. He threw coins into the shallow water at the beach for the kids to swim down and grab.
This guy's crazy.
This guy is nuts.
He loves money.
Yeah, and these are just like a couple like small examples of the insane picture that was painted in the first article that I read about this guy.
Wow. Okay.
How did he get so rich? Who is Edward Drouin and why is he so rich?
That's my questions.
And I found this quote. No one here pretends to know just what resources Drouin has.
Okay.
Very interesting. Okay. So let's go back.
Let's do it.
Let's go back.
Let's do it.
Edward A. Drouin, born either in 1845 or 1852 in Philadelphia, was the son of a housekeeper at the time, Felix Drouin. I couldn't find any information on his mother, but I did find that he also had a sister named Mary, who was only a few years older than him. Felix, who was Edward's father, eventually worked his way up to become a professor of French language and literature at the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I do believe that the Drouins came from France. Felix was born in New York.
Felix is kind of like
was born in New York, but I think he had a mom that was from France.
Okay.
In the census that I found, shout out Ancestry.com. It was our obsession this past week. I'm also going to shout it out later. I found a census with the Drouin family on them, and they also had an older French woman living with them who was like quite a bit older, but probably a mother or a mother-in-law.
Right.
So then Edward went to school both at Rittenhouse and Episcopal academies, eventually dropping out at 14 years old to start a job with a dry goods firm.
Wow.
He was in the grain business, and this would eventually be the best decision of his life.
Right at the ripe age of 14.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Early on, Drouin had what was described as a remarkable business talent. At 20 years old, he purchased a seat in one of the exchanges in Philadelphia and speculator in grain. So a speculator is like a day trader, but they primarily work in buying and selling agriculture commodities like wheat, grain, or corn, not like stocks of companies.
Yeah, okay.
So I did a lot of research into like how this kind of worked. Yeah. And just go watch The Big Short or like go watch any sort of stock exchange type movie.
What's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Wolf of Wall Street.
The penny stocks.
He was, it's like, so he became
but it's agriculture.
The wolf of Philadelphia agriculture, Wall Street sort of thing.
Sick. Okay.
I think it was also due to the fact that he was quite young and he it was a new thing. Like this commercial stock exchange only came into effect a few years before he like actually bought a seat on it. So he was like really young, able to understand the business side of it super well, and was able to capitalize on that.
Okay.
He made a ton of money. Wow. He understood the trends and read and predicted the markets correctly. He rose up through the ranks, becoming the vice president of the exchange itself for many years.
Wow.
This was around when he was like 30.
Jeez.
So he like really upped his game.
Yeah.
After this, Edward was also appointed the chairman of the committee for the Philadelphia Stock Exchange and allegedly met multiple presidents as they came to visit the exchange.
Oh, okay.
So he would represent the agricultural side of Philadelphia on the actual stock exchange.
Whoa.
Yeah. In the early 1870s, he met a woman by the name of Emily Thompson. She was the daughter of a wealthy wholesale grocer from Illinois. Edward was flying high. At this point, he was like 29, rich as hell, and finally had someone to share his bounties with.
Very nice.
By all accounts, Edward and Emily got along famously. She fell madly in love with him. It was said that she loved his spontaneity and would go for long, mad drives with him at any hour of the night.
Yeah, that would be he sounds a bit of a wild ride.
He's kind of eccentric. Like he's kind of like, you're in it like, oh man, he's so enveloping. Like he's so like all encompassing. You kind of get obsessed with like, he's like a drug almost because he's like bopping around so much and he's so successful.
And he's got the fur coat.
The two were married on June 11th, 1874. Fast forward to 1888. Fun year to say. Just a side note, 1888.
1888.
This was when Edward Drouin's friends said they first observed that he had started to show some, quote, eccentric tendencies.
Okay.
He had become an expert billiards player. It was said that he would parade down Main Street in Philadelphia with his personalized cue, overcoat, and slippers on, challenging his acquaintances in the street to play him. He was loud, brash, and liked to flaunt.
Is this guy drunk the whole time too?
Point at people with his billiard cue and be like,
you're
gonna play me, and he would always play for a bit of money. But you know, I found a couple articles that said he was like short. He gives tall guy energy, but he was like a short king.
I'm not gonna say run.
Shout out last week's episode. Go listen to last week's episode. The extra extras right at the end. Hilarious. It was shortly after this that Edward and Emily actually moved to Paris for a short time. They traveled around Europe living in a wealthy lifestyle. Basically, he kind of like quit his job.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I mean,
he was just
if
like,
you have
I'm
so much
rich.
money,
Yeah.
quit your job.
I found this quote in the paper at the time about their time in Europe. It is said that during a month he spent at Monte Carlo, he never quit the gaming table a day without being a heavy winner.
Man.
Just riding high.
Really, he really is.
Now, I can't confirm anything, but I believe Emily's father also may have died either before they went to Paris or after they came back, because from here on out, the amount of money they have is insane.
Right. Do you have like a number ballpark, or it's just how much they were spending?
It's just how much they were spending. Yeah, and like they were just so impulsive. Like nothing was out of reach for them.
Right.
They just had what probably seemed to them at the time an unlimited amount of money.
Yes. Yeah.
And kind of was at the time.
Yeah.
Like I just a ballpark for everyone, and I'll kind of talk about this a little bit later too. But if you were let's say just a journalist working like a regular journalist job, you were making like $120 a year. Wow. 120
in like
on the
money?
on the high end, $250 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you were making at the time.
That's crazy.
And he would like spend that in a whim. Like he would burn $10 or something that someone makes in an entire month.
Crazy.
So I believe after her father may have died, they moved back to the States and settled into Atlantic City in 1894. I found some conflicting reports about when they settled down in Atlantic City, but the stories primarily started from 1894. Okay. March 4th, 1894, Drouin startles Atlantic City by announcing his intention to buy one of their local papers, the Atlantic City Journal. Later that same day, he made official arrangements to buy it.
That's crazy. You just walk in.
I'm buying this paper.
I'm buying this place. Thank you.
And that wasn't the end. March 5th, the following day, he shocks the town people again by buying another institution, this time the Second National Bank. Earlier that day, a clerk had, quote unquote, answered him rather gruffly. He apparently turned on his heel, said he would own the bank, quote unquote, within a week.
Okay, do you picture him short at this point?
Yeah, an hour later, he came back and started aggressively buying stock in the bank.
Oh my gosh, hilarious.
He became like a majority owner in this bank.
That's
just like on the spot. He's like,
in a week.
And you're fired. It's crazy. A few days after this, he bought a property known as the Penn Mansion beside his property across from the Traymore Hotel. And it was like, in the papers, they were saying it was like legendary kind of thing.
Okay.
I can't find any photos of it because it cost them $30,000, which is about 1.2 million USD today, around 1.7 Canadian. I believe he bought it outright as well. Someone remarked to him that it would make a nice home for him and his wife. He said to them, and I quote, "Home? Huh. I'm going to tear the old rattletrap down and use the ground to enlarge my stable."
Hilarious.
So yeah, that's why you can't see the Penn Mansion anymore. It became a stable.
Jeez.
How many horses does he have? I'll tell you.
Oh, you know.
I know the amount of horses he has.
We'll get there.
From here, his display of wealth grew more and more comical. During that summer, he was seen making multiple trips up and down to the beach, each time with a different wagon and a different horse. He had somewhere between 60 and 70 animals in his stable.
Wow.
And he had more than 20 wagons.
The dream.
For himself.
That
was just him and his wife.
Crazy.
They didn't have kids.
He's a spender.
He's a spender.
You don't need 20 wagons. You need maybe two.
I would argue you probably need one.
A big one
maybe,
and a small one.
Maybe two
just
of you and your wife are going somewhere
separate that day.
We have a big car
and a little car.
Yeah, exactly. Big wagon, little wagon. Big horse, Little horse.
Little horse. Same thing.
In addition to this, he would change his clothes all the time.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. He would be dressed in a yachting costume, and then later someone would see him again and he's in a bicycle rig, which is just like tucking your pants into long boots.
Hilarious.
And then later he'd be in a frock, which was one of those like fancy long-tailed suits.
Yes. Like the... Yeah.
Yep. And then he would, in the evening, he would dress like a pioneer.
Gosh.
Regular old Charles Ingalls.
Charles Ingalls.
Complete with a revolver on his hip and a sombrero on.
With a sombrero on?
I know.
This guy's mixing matching.
It's so funny.
I'm sure he had personal assistants and they probably had like a lot of really funny stories.
He did have servants.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like listed that he had servants.
Right.
I've actually got a couple of stories about them.
Okay.
In a little bit.
Okay.
Edward wasn't the only one to exhibit extravagant tendencies. Emily, who would also change her fit 6 times a day, could frequently be seen in completely gowned, and wearing jewels, quote unquote, worth a king's ransom.
That's just a lot of effort.
I
Like to
know.
really dress up 6 times a day.
Like just
I can
keep
barely
going
do
back
one.
and forth.
That's
What do I
crazy.
wear now? And probably never seen in the same thing.
Probably not.
Insane. A nice thing about Emily was that she was actually a generous person. Once she paid for 100 boys and girls to hop on a merry-go-round with her.
Oh.
After this, she treated everyone in the area to candy and paid for a show at the theater. Like marched everyone down to the theater and was like, let's go see a show.
And eat
paid
some
for
candy.
everyone to, yeah.
That's
The
cute.
following day, she hired all the pony carts and saddle horses on the beach and let all the kids ride for free.
So nice.
Mm-hmm. Edward was generous too in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
When a reporter wrote...
Just don't talk to him that in a way that will heighten him.
Yeah, but if you flatter him, you'll get the world.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
So when a reporter actually wrote a nice story about him, he tracked that reporter down and invited him to dinner at his home. After the dinner, he presented the man with a diamond-studded watch chain worth $500. This is $19K today.
That's wild.
Yep. As he was about to fasten his own pocket watch onto the chain, his wife then presented him with a gold watch, like a brand new gold diamond-studded watch with his name engraved on the case.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I didn't.
They love this guy.
I know. I didn't have like the figure of how much the watch cost.
Probably a lot.
But if the chain was $500,
It's at least worth a little car.
at least
these
worth
days.
a little car.
Yeah.
But as I said before, an employed reporter would typically make about $150 to $250 a year. $250 on the high side.
Did you do the conversion?
Roughly $10,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the high end.
Right.
So he gave him something that was worth double his annual income.
Wow.
That potentially 5 times his annual income.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
And that's just the
crazy.
chain. So in researching this, you can start to see the cracks in the couple's psyche in certain stories as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like they started to feel almost as if they were like godlike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Interesting.
Like this one story where Edward bought $18 worth of goldfish. That's $740 worth of goldfish.
That would buy you literally 740
goldfish. Not enough.
That's wild.
Put them in an aquarium in his home, and while watching them swim around, he suddenly thought that the water was probably too cold for them, and he ordered a servant to bring a bucket of warm water. The servant said no, saying that hot water would kill the fish.
Yes.
And Edward said, "Do as I tell you. I bought them, they are mine, and I'll do with them as I like."
Oh, these poor fish.
Unfortunately, the servant obeyed and gave the goldfish a warm bath.
No.
That is how they described it in the paper as well.
Oh,
Gave them a
no.
warm bath. They didn't confirm
Rest
that
in
all
peace.
of them died.
Rest
but
in peace.
Yeah. So it's after this that Edward started to get in trouble with the law.
It started with the goldfish.
Started with the goldfish.
The
Hey, you can't-
murdering
the
of
murder
the-
of 740 innocent goldfish.
It's terrible.
Which is goldfish.
You know how many
Just
like
innocent
ancestry
goldfish.
Do you know how many ancestor like what is it? Like gene lines? What is
740 goldfish. Is that what you're picturing?
it? We're just wiped out. What's
Just
the word I'm looking for?
They have, like ancestry lines, like
No,
lineage.
Lineage. That's what I'm
Yeah,
looking for.
740 lines, like lineage of those poor 740
Poor
goldfish.
fish.
It seemed like a lot of the time, him getting into trouble with the law was due to his driving and how he would act while intoxicated.
Ah.
One time he was arrested for driving in circles on the beach, basically doing donuts with a horse where children were playing.
Oh my gosh.
So he wasn't locked up for this, though. He was super rich, obviously. He was let go with the promise to, quote unquote, appear in court when wanted. because they knew where he was
loosey
going.
goosey.
He was in the area.
Yeah.
They knew he was
He
too
had
rich
like
to
so many
just
horses. You're not gonna just leave.
You're gonna hear those horses going
Yeah.
from miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Like 70 horses is crazy.
It's crazy.
A
You
cavalry.
can't just ditch them.
It's nuts. On July 9th, 1895, Drouin was arrested for disorderly conduct. He had been a thorn in the side of police for far too long by this time. He was discharged on his promise to, quote unquote, leave the city and return no more. The police were like, get out of here.
Just leave.
Otherwise, you are going to jail. Just leave.
You can't
just
buy us
go
this
on,
time.
Get.
Unless you give me a gold watch. My name engraved.
Well, on his way out of town, he actually left a gold souvenir spoon for the officer that arrested him.
That's funny.
He just went, doot, literally on his way out of town. He put a spoon on the guy's desk.
That's such an FU move.
Isn't that crazy?
That's kind of sick.
Love that.
That's kind of cool. I almost said that's kind of hot.
That's fine. You know, hey, you like big spenders.
No.
It's kind of hot.
It's kind of hot.
Gold spoon. Putting a gold spoon on a police officer.
It's a good way to say.
Thinking of you.
Like, I guess just FU.
It's FU money.
Yeah, it's FU
it's
money.
Like, this doesn't matter to me.
I'm good. Here's my spoon.
Here's my spoon.
That's
Did the police officer accept it? Like, it's not a bribe. They left him.
I'd keep it.
You know what? Someone's family member still has a gold spoon, and they're like, "Wow, why do we have this gold spoon?" After this, the Drouins didn't return to Atlantic City until the summer of 1901, and again popping up in 1903. It was just Emily, though, who returned on her own. I guess maybe because Edward was banned.
Okay, right.
The first time she was in a parade, and that's kind of all the details I have. She was just at the end of a parade in a carriage.
Okay.
And the second, she was seen strolling by the boardwalk down by the ocean. She was given hearty greetings by a lot of her old friends. Oh. The article reminisced on the Drouins' time gallivanting around the city and commented on Emily's happy manners and genial spirit. A genial spirit is like a warm spirit. So here's where the story takes a turn. And when I was researching, I was just honestly looking to see where they died, what happened, because I was like, all right, this is probably the end of the story. They were banned from Atlantic City. Okay. They kind of faded away from the spotlight. So I was doing my due diligence, and I found this headline from August 11th, 1905. And I'm going to quote the headline to you.
Okay.
Held up his feet. Method adopted by woman to allow soul to escape. A wealthy man is dead.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What?
So I'm going to read a part of another article now.
Okay.
Edward Drouin, formerly a wealthy and influential merchant of Philadelphia, is dead in this city. Drouin married the daughter of the late S.H. Thompson, a wealthy wholesale grocer of Peoria, and inherited the entire fortune, which has since been wasted.
Oh, they spent their money.
When found, his wife was driven insane by the death of her husband and was holding the feet of the corpse in the air in order, as she said, to, quote, allow the soul to escape.
Interesting.
So when police came in, she's like she's holding his feet up, desperately being like, his soul needs to escape his body.
Does it say
Didn't
how
that take a turn? Isn't that crazy?
Does it say how he died?
Do you want me to keep going?
Yes. Sorry. Go on. Yes. Whoa.
So
what
now
a creepy
I know
visual.
So I think we were sitting on the couch doing our research together.
Yes, I remember you.
And I was just like,
you found something because you were like, I read that need one more thing for my story.
I know. I was kind of like, it's kind of funny. They were banned for Atlantic City. The end. No. That's the headline that I read. And I was like, what? So now they're in Peoria, Illinois, which is where Emily actually grew up. Apparently, Edward's death occurred at around 2:30 a.m. and his body was found lying in the hallway of their home. So let's go back a month prior to this. Edward and Emily had returned to Atlantic City. He was described as, quote, broken in health. Emily was with him and she was described as a nervous wreck. They visited none of their former friends and colleagues, instead remaining holed up in their hotel room for days.
Okay.
He was averaging about $100 in tips per day. Okay. He would give out to the workers ranging from messenger boys, cook staff, all that stuff. His tips were so legendary that he would send for a messenger and all the boys would drop what they were doing and scramble to his room.
Of course.
In the years since leaving Atlantic City, the Drouins had squandered their immense fortune. They weren't living in squalor by any means, but they were no longer the flashy couple they had once been.
Right.
The house where Edward's body was discovered was, quote, filled with furniture of the strangest character, and the walls were covered with reproductions of the coat of arms adopted by the couple. So apparently they had made their own coat of arms.
So have we. So what?
So it's not a weird thing to do. But it would be weird to decorate the whole entire the entire apartment with that.
Maybe the Garby Clark should do the same thing.
We probably should. Mm-hmm. In the weeks prior to Edward's death, Emily had written letters to prominent people in the city warning them of, quote, attempts on their lives and asserting that a band of people were threatening the extermination of the populace by turning on the electric fluid.
What?
I know, Kendra.
These people are insane.
This was crazy.
Or they just broke.
Because I was just reading about these crazy people doing like crazy, silly things. Like he's killing goldfish. Haha. Right?
What is the electric fluid?
When police investigated these claims and searched their apartment, they found, quote, vast quantities of mineral and medicinal waters designed to destroy the efforts of the people with the electric waters.
Okay,
how
so sometimes
insane
when people
is
get
that?
Way too rich and they start reading up on these really weird things to spend their money on.
High on their own supply.
Kind of. They just kind of break.
So Emily had a complete and total breakdown.
Yeah.
After Edward's death, she was sent to live with her family in Decatur, Illinois at their request.
Mm-hmm.
In October of 1905, I found that Emily was committed to an asylum because she had become unmanageable.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Because she apparently was normal and very nice. And
yeah. And so now she's driven to insanity.
Wow.
And she's in an asylum.
Crazy.
Yeah. She was either sent to the Illinois Asylum for Incurable Insane, later known as the Peoria State Hospital, probably that one, or the Illinois Central Hospital for the Insane in Jacksonville.
Crazy.
I never found out what actually happened to Edward Drouin. It was never published in any of the papers. So
did he drink something weird? Did he drink one of the fluids or the
So I don't
potions?
really know, but it was kind of insinuated in some things that he may have committed suicide.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but I believe, and this is my own theory, is that they got heavily into like drug usage.
Yeah, it
and
sounds
like
like
heroin usage.
Okay.
Specifically,
like opium.
I think it was like heroin at that time. And it caused crazy hallucinations. And I'm kind of betting it's something related to that. But that's just a theory. So I didn't really delve into that. And obviously not posting that in the papers. But I think it was ruled a suicide.
Okay.
It was just tough to find.
Okay. Crazy.
So this is not the end of the story for Emily Drouin, though. She pops up again 11 years later in September of 1960. She had put a hotel that her and Edward had purchased in Atlantic City on the market. The property was apparently super valuable and had many developers chomping at the bit to purchase the property. And then I believe Emily died later that year. She was buried under her maiden name in the same cemetery as Edward in Peoria, Illinois.
Anytime we're there, we should go visit.
The life of the Drouins faded away into obscurity, mostly in part to the fact that they wasted away their entire wealth.
Yeah.
And didn't have any kids as well.
No kids, yeah. Oh, man.
Time forgot about them until now.
Da-da-da.
And that's my story, Kendra.
I love it. Thank you for bringing them back to life.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
Absolutely insane.
Wow.
I was just like,
I want to know more.
Goofy, silly people.
I want to know more.
And that's pretty well all I could find on them in like all the newspapers. I know you need more. And there was a couple other Edward Drouins in the United States at that time. It was kind of a common name.
Yeah, it sounds.
So at one point I was like, oh my gosh, they moved to Louisiana and they had a daughter. And no, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
It was not them. It was a different Edward Drouin.
Whoa, what a nuts story.
Yeah.
Into it.
Yeah.
Into it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So I found my story in the Rochester Herald of Rochester, New York, New York, New York, New York, New York, New York, New York. However, we start the story in downtown Detroit sometime between late March to early April of 1895. We are at the place of an undertaker who goes by the name of Undertaker Gibbs.
Undertaker Gibbs.
And if you're like me, I was like, what is an undertaker? And isn't that just the name of some wrestler?
Yeah, I was kind of like,
you're not alone.
Undertaker.
I am too uninformed. They used to call funeral directors and or morticians undertakers, but started to phase that term out like late 1890s, like right after basically. Yeah. So because it sounds so brutal. Undertaker is like, take my body under.
The Undertaker. Yeah, so that's probably why the Undertaker is called the Undertaker.
Yeah.
That's really sick.
It is kind of
that's
a sick
kind
name.
Of a sick name.
Yeah.
I might just start calling myself the Undertaker. It's not taken, right?
Don't think so.
It's not undertaken. Anyway,
it's not undertaken. You're good. Undertaker Gibbs would often make low bids for burying the city's dead.
Undertaker Gibbs would often make low bids.
It does rhyme. Yeah. for burying the city's dead, and he would usually keep and collect the bodies until he had about a wagon load, and then he would bury them all at once.
Bring out your dad.
Bring out your dad. That's what I thought of too. But I mean, like, so sweet of him to do that.
Very nice.
He saved his time and his money. So, you know, I guess the cemetery was about 8 miles away. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the corpses of people's loved ones were just sitting in his wagon until
brutal.
he had enough. But yeah, pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. I didn't mean sweet as in like, I meant like sarcastic. So sweet.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah,
so sweet.
Anyways, a lot of the bodies that Undertaker Gibbs was burying were victims of smallpox, which meant that he had a hard time finding a permanent place for his Undertaker work shop, as his neighbors would keep objecting to having his shop near them, and so he was continuously moving his shop around. The last place he finally settled into, he was located near the corner of Park Place and Grand River Avenue there, downtown Detroit. On the southwest corner of the intersection is what the papers called a clubhouse with a resort for disorderly persons. And an incident was happening there where a fight took place that resulted in a 24-hour stick-up with police, and what sounds like a police officer might have been taking his hostage.
Wow.
With like a gun to his head while like this whole like
wild
stick-up happened. But
Right.
that's another story for another time.
Okay.
A reporter who was covering this held like the holdup with the police went into Undertaker Gibbs' establishment just to sort of take shelter and write up his report. And as he wandered into the shop, he gave one of the coffins on display a little kick, thinking it was going to sound hollow and empty. Clearly it wasn't, and
This
it
is
didn't
so
sound
cinematic.
hollow and empty. He called over the Undertaker, who explained to the reporter that the coffin contained the body of a girl with whom he had been paid $100 to keep for 2 months to test out a new embalming fluid they've been testing.
$100. That's
$100.
Good chunk of change.
Yep. It had been 10 weeks after the girl had died, and her body had been in an excellent state of preservation.
Whoa.
He refused to give any additional information, so the reporter left and went to the Board of Health and made a complaint, I guess, against his shop.
Whoa. Yeah, that's, I mean,
Kind of got
snitch,
it, like it,
but
right?
yeah, I get it. Yeah. That's
bad.
crazy.
Gibbs had buried the body quickly after the reporter left, but the authorities had it exhumed, and an effort was put forward to have the body of the young girl identified. However, no one in the Detroit and surrounding areas came forward to identify her, and so the body of the unknown girl, now named Myrtle Cook, was again buried into a grave.
Was it always Myrtle?
It's always Myrtle.
I had a Myrtle. I had a missing Myrtle in my ghost story.
Right. And then there's
And then
Moaning
Moaning
Myrtle.
Myrtle.
My great-grandmother was Myrtle. There's lots of Myrtles. Interest in identifying the body fizzled out until one woman came forward with her story and wanted to tell the authorities what she knew.
Let's go.
This girl went by the name of Jenny Wilson in the papers, although that was not her real name. It's just one she wanted to make up for the papers, so we don't actually know her real name. She worked as a maid and lived in the house of a rich contractor and builder. Jenny's husband would visit her at the house where she worked at every week or so, and one day he was over at the house she was working at, and the contractor's wife told Jenny's husband a story telling him that Jenny had been in the same lying-in hospital. And lying in at this time meant maternity ward, basically.
Oh, okay.
So she was telling him that his wife basically told her a story while she was there. That this mysterious Myrtle Cook had been rumored to have died in.
How old was Myrtle Cook?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
We're going to figure it out.
Okay, because you said girl, and I thought it was a young girl. But it was
like a young woman.
Young woman, okay.
It took 4 days for them all to convince Jenny to tell her story to the authorities, but they all finally sat down with the police. Jenny was about to become a mother, and so she went to Mrs. H.B. Lane's lying-in maternity hospital at 630 Lincoln Avenue because it was cheaper to go there.
Right.
So Jenny told police, quote, and this is a bit of a long one, so stick with me. Quote, while I was there, the inmates of the house were excited over the arrival of a girl from England who had been alluded to by Mrs. Lane as Emma Hall. So Emma was her name, the English tourist. She reached the house about 11 o'clock at night, and I noticed her attire was distinctly un-American, which included a small round brown hat with a small feather and a long cloak.
So she wasn't wearing the stars and stripes.
She was not, absolutely not. Her face was pretty, round, and full, and she was a girl who would be noticed in a crowd. She was very tired and nearly half famished when she reached the house, but after her supper and a night's sleep seemed to recover and was the most bright and cheerful woman in the house.
All right, so this new
Very
Emma
sweet.
Hall is
Emma
like,
Hall.
she's adjusting.
She is, yeah. Jenny went on to tell the authorities that, quote, she told me all of her troubles and said she had been sent here by a friend in England. The doctor visited her on 2 occasions, and I was present at the last visit and saw all that was done. I was with her a great part of the time. She told me that the cause of her trouble was an English clergyman.
Like potentially like, I guess we'll get to it.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
She did not give his address, but having very frequently told me about Birmingham, I gathered he must live there. When she died, Mrs. Lane told me that her people had been notified, but the death so disturbed me that I left the house. I heard nothing of the case until a few days ago when I saw a mention of it in a newspaper. We talked it over and we decided my employer must be told.
Right. Okay. She got a little info.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jenny continued on saying that, quote, Emma Hall told me all about her past life, and she said that everything had been arranged to deceive her parents with a story of having been in Scotland while she was here. The last words I heard her say, and it was the day she died, were, for the love of heaven, do not let my people know what has become of me.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Interesting.
So after Jenny told them her story, they again exhumed the body of this presumed Myrtle cook. After a quick glance of her face, Jenny Wilson said, that is Emma Hall, but those are not her clothes.
That embalming actually worked really well then.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, they did pretty good on that. Authorities immediately put out arrest warrants for the owners of the hospital, Mr. Herman and Miss Alice Lane, as well as a doctor that worked there named Dr. Dennis J. Seaman. We'll just call him Dr. Seaman. LOL.
Okay.
But we'll get into all that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we can call him that. No worries.
We'll get into all that because first we have to get into who Emma Hall was and why this poor girl was in Detroit being buried as Myrtle Cook.
Crazy.
Her real name was Emily. Emily. We both have Emily. Emily. But she was called Emma by all of her friends and family. So we'll just call her Emma too.
Yeah, because we're like close friends and family with her now.
Exactly. She was about 22 to 24 years old. Couldn't confirm. With pale skin and light brown wavy hair. She was the eldest of 13 children in her family. It was said that her reputation was excellent and her friends were only the best characters. She was said to be bright and lively and loved to visit her friends. She was also said to have been an exceedingly good singer and reciter.
Very good at reciting.
I know, I thought that was kind of funny. Reciter. She lived near Hillzowen, which is a small manufacturing town in Birmingham, England, where her parents owned a small cottage and where her father worked in the chemical works there. But Emma had been sort of missing in action for a couple of months now. Emma's mother later said, a few days before Christmas, she said she thought she would go to Calton Hills, which is in Leeds district, to spend the holidays with some friends. I did not think anything about this, and exactly 3 weeks from the day she left home, I got a letter from her saying that she had been engaged as a ladies' companion and was going on a long trip abroad. So she told her mom that she got a new job and she was just going to be traveling along with this lady. If you're wondering what a ladies' companion job is, you're also not alone. Wikipedia says that a lady's companion was a woman of genteel birth who lived with a woman of rank or wealth as a retainer. The role was to spend time with her employer, giving her conversation.
Just a friend,
kind of paying her to be a friend and helping her out and whatever she kind of wants, social events and stuff. So
just a buddy. Buddy system.
She continued on by saying that she did not say where she was going, and I never heard. Her friends in Leeds wrote that they did not know where she went. We suppose that she had gone somewhere on the continent and that it would only be a few weeks at most until we heard back.
That's kind of a funny way. We assume she was still on the continent.
I know.
Not over on that continent.
Not that far away. There's no water involved. She was a thoughtful and affectionate girl, and I cannot help but think it was not her fault. Emma's closest friend, Jenny Chalmers, another Jenny, different Jenny, popular name back then, said that she thought Emma was in America and that in a short time she would return or a letter would be received. She also said that Emma's education was such that she would be most acceptable as a lady's companion. Emma was also an avid churchgoer and used to preach and speak at the church she went to in the area of Dudley, another suburb of Birmingham.
Dudley. She was seen quite a lot with the pastor Jonathan Bell and his family. A clergyman.
Jonathan Bell, 38 years old, had been the pastor at her church for the past 2 years, and Emma had grown quite close to the family in recent months.
I smell a clergyman.
Mr. and Mrs. Bell at the time had 5 living children. He had invited He had even invited Emma to live in their home for 6 weeks the previous August of 1894 to help out with housework while Mrs. Bell was working on her accouchement.
What is that?
So if you don't know what accouchement is,
I don't.
Again, you're not alone because I did not. And it means childbirth.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So she was living with them in August of 1894 while his wife was giving birth basically to her.
And she was
children.
found when? In April of...
April...
1895.
Yes, March, April of 1995.
Right.
Fast forward again to January 1895, and the holidays have come and gone, and Emma's parents received one final letter from Emma. Mrs. Hall said that in the last letter from her daughter, she thanked her mother for sending a warm shawl and added that she had written to her cousin telling her what the matter was with her. She basically told her mom in a letter being like, I can't tell you what's wrong because you're going to tell all the kids.
But good old cousin
she has
knows.
13 brothers and sisters.
Crazy.
Normal
for that time.
Mm-hmm. In the letter that Emma wrote to her cousin, she said that Reverend Bell had sent her a pass to America and wished her to go when he went. So he made a trip there to see his brother-in-law near Detroit in November, December. So that's only a couple months before she left to go to America herself.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. To her family then at this time in late January, it seemed that Emily first declined this invitation from Bell, although later seemed to have changed her mind and made use of the pass to America given to her by Jonathan Bell, who they were really close with too. Like her family was really close to him.
Yeah.
So they were like, it's not weird.
He was the pastor.
Yeah.
It's not weird.
It's
He's
not
the
weird.
pastor.
Yeah. But they were very confused about all of it because Jonathan Bell was now back in Birmingham by the time they got this last letter. So obviously you've caught it
a little bit.
Yep. We're smelling some suspicion. We learn about the details of Jonathan Bell's trip to the outskirts of Detroit to a small town called St. Clair, which I think there's a St. Clair on the American side and on the Canadian side because it like runs on the border. It's like one of those like Niagara Falls, New York.
Happy, lovely.
Yes.
Border towns.
St. Clair. It's only about 71 kilometers outside of Detroit. He took a boat the first or second week of November.
Sorry, he took a boat.
It's first or second week of November to visit his brother-in-law, Mr. Peace. They're staying until around January 1st when he took a boat back to England. During that time, however, his brother-in-law did later tell reporters that they visited Detroit once for a day trip, but could not remember Mr. Bell leaving his site during that whole visit. So when he was later asked about it, he was like, I don't recall him ever like leaving my side.
I don't think
so. He didn't do anything.
I don't think he left my side.
My side.
He was pretty sure
by
beside my side the entire
time.
He was by my side. Yeah, by my side. He was by my side the whole time. Yes.
On April 26th, a paper tells us that further investigations reveal some additional details. We learn that first, Jonathan Bell has taken flight and completely disappeared from his home a couple of days ago, and he had resigned from his ministry.
Well, at least he spent the time to do that.
At least. He had last preached the previous Monday at his chapel, but as more details come out about his involvement with Emma, he sold off his library and decided to leave the area altogether.
I wonder what that final sermon was.
I know, me too.
Let's remember that Jesus,
we love our
Jesus
wives.
forgave. Jesus forgave. He was a very forgiving person, and if you confessed that maybe you did something to Jesus, he was like, "That's okay as long as you're
he forgives you
so
and
everyone,
you ask for forgiveness."
Let's just remember that you want to be a forgiving person, hypothetically.
And don't cheat on your wife.
And don't cheat on your wife, and don't murder the person you cheated on your wife with, potentially. But that didn't happen here. So anyways, I quit.
See you tomorrow. Mr. Bell's wife said that she had not seen her husband since Tuesday when he bade her a goodbye.
I bid goodbye.
I bid
you goodbye.
It comes out as well that Emma's mother also received a letter a few weeks prior that was forwarded to her by the post office authorities in Boston. This letter was sent to Jonathan Bell, but was stuck at the office and no one was there to pick it up. It was written by Emma to Jonathan and contained some confirmation that we were looking for. The letter was asking Bell to help her through all of her trouble.
Right.
Although Jonathan Bell fled, there was no reason yet for his arrest of any kind since the evidence was only showing that Bell was responsible for her condition.
Which means
we all know at this point she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And he sent money to relieve her, but the evidence does not show that he actually procured the commission of the abortion that she died from. Authorities actually believed at this time that he was opposed to the operation, but left the matter up to her, which is
Sure.
Whatever.
They are just trying to save it
For
seems
sure.
like they're
At this
trying
point,
to save a pastor
yes.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But then he did just happen to go stay in Detroit for 2 months just before Emma herself happened to go
Set
to
it all
Detroit.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Once that reporter in Detroit just happened to kick the casket and find Emma's body.
Crazy.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy that's the whole thing. He just goes bonk.
Yeah. Just to see if it
and this whole
hollow.
thing cascades.
I know.
She goes,
Crazy.
bonk, bonk.
Bonk. And once police arrested all the parties involved in the operation that killed her and the ones involved in hiding her body, they arrested the whole lot. This included Undertaker Gibbs, Dr. Seaman, and the owners of the hospital, Mr. and Mrs. Lane.
Dr. Seaman in the funeral home
that's what
with
it
the coffin. Everyone's a clue character.
Everyone is a clue character. In the cases that they built up against those who were arrested, authorities now had enough evidence that while Jonathan Bell was indeed staying near Detroit in December, November, and that is when he conclusively made arrangements for Emma to come to that doctor's office. They had lots of letters at this point to prove that, and police now in their possession had letters that were written from Bell to Emma on dainty letter paper, they said. Dainty letter paper.
Super thin paper.
Very dainty.
Almost like a handkerchief.
So sweet.
Monogrammed.
Jonathan Bell had taken to St. Clair the letters he had written to Emma, which were later found in Dr. Seaman's belongings. It was believed. I know. I'm sorry.
That's bad. That's on me. Honestly, I'm just.
You're just a 12-year-old boy. It was believed the doctor kept these with the idea of later extorting money from Mr. Bell. Mr. Lane was now giving a statement that the dead girl was from England and that she was Emily Hall. 2 other envelopes were found by authorities, added to the mystery. The police have now worked up a pretty solid case against the Lanes and Dr. Seaman on the charge of performing a criminal operation, which in Michigan amounts to murder.
Yep.
Yes. They now have lots of evidence against Jonathan Bell as well for setting up the operation. By May 2nd, under the laws...
Shout out my birthday.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out my birthday.
May 2nd.
Not to make this about me.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Under the laws of Michigan, he was now charged with murder, being an accessory before the fact. We now know that Emma Hall had the operation on January 25th, but died of complications on February 3rd at the hospital, which is so sad. Like, this poor girl.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
She didn't know what she was kind of getting into. And
she
all
was
the
whisked
grossness.
away to a completely different continent.
I know. And then she died, and then they used her body in that way. Like, it's just gross.
Well, if they had just gotten rid of the body,
I know.
None of this would have happened.
Yeah.
Instead, they decided to try out an embalming fluid because they're like, we got an extra body here, which is crazy.
Crazy.
And then that reporter goes bonk.
Bury the body. At least.
Guess so.
I mean, don't. Again, don't
do murder to start. Don't murder to start.
But this was a little bit dumb on their part. Yes.
If that's not been clear.
Yeah. So now we know testimony. In a blinding snowstorm on February 6th, Dr. Seaman called upon Undertaker Gibbs and told him that he had a body to be buried and would pay the expenses in advance. Gibbs did not ask any questions, and when Dr. Seaman told him that the burial was to be private, Gibbs did not take a helper with him. So Gibbs and Seaman mounted the seat of an express wagon, which contained a common pine box, and they drove to the alley in the rear of number 630 Lincoln Avenue. They entered the door at the rear of the house, and there they found the body of a young woman in a bed. They placed the body in the pine box and drove off to Gibbs' shop. Then Seaman told Gibbs to bury the body, giving him a certificate which read that Myrtle Cook from New York had died of pneumonia. February 6th.
Just make up a name.
You could just do it.
Yeah, this Myrtle Cook.
Myrtle Cook from New York.
Pneumonia.
Pneumonia. February 6th. And was to be buried in Forest Lawn Cemetery.
Crazy.
That is when it was suggested the idea that Myrtle Cook's body would offer excellent opportunities for proving the efficiency of a new embalming fluid.
No, I'm thinking, wait a second. We should just embalming. Instead of getting the express permission of someone's family, we could just do it with this person that we murdered.
Yeah, that we just made a fake ID for.
No one's looking for Myrtle Cook.
No.
That's crazy.
And so they did, and everything had gone smoothly, and it might have continued to go smoothly for all those involved had it not been for the reporter, obviously, at Undertaker's shop, which is crazy.
On a whim, because he was reporting on something else.
Yeah.
And then just came in and kicked a coffin.
Yeah, he essentially solved the murder and disappearance of Emma Hall. Had he not been there, she probably would still be buried in a grave marked Myrtle Cook in Forest Lawn Cemetery in Detroit, and her family would have never known what had happened to her. Isn't that wild? On a different continent altogether.
I wonder how much that's randomly happened. Like, I mean, there's a lot of anyway, we can't get into that.
No. It is now late May and still no sign of where Mr. Bell took off to. Letters were found in his desk after he left by his wife, which included letters from Emma. One said, "I know I have thrown them off the scent of you altogether. You will never be betrayed by me." Another one was from Mrs. Lane of the hospital, dated March 15th, which was a little over a month after her death, saying that Miss Hall, the young woman whom you sent, had left for New York and declined to remain at the establishment, which lies.
Lies. Interesting.
Like they might, yeah. So I don't even know if he really, I'm sure he had an idea.
Yeah.
Yes, he fled.
Probably someone told him.
Yeah,
his brother.
I'm sure someone told him. Yeah. There's a lot of truly crazy evidence and witness statements in court when everyone was arrested, but we would be here for literally hours.
Yeah.
Mrs. Lane was found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to 10 years in jail. I cannot find out, though, if they charged her husband, which is odd, but it doesn't seem like they ended up doing it. It seemed like she was mostly part of it. Dr. Seaman also went to court twice and was found guilty and convicted of having performed the abortion that killed Emma Hall by means unknown both times and sentenced to 10 years in jail as well. It seemed like the undertaker Gibbs and his witness testimony against the doctors made it so he wouldn't really get in trouble himself. He should have asked more questions and been a little less trusting of these.
Yeah, but he didn't know the whole lead up to everything. No, allegedly. He didn't.
Allegedly. Yeah. But yeah, he should have asked a little more because it's kind of sketchy.
The dude just, let's go back to the beginning. He just piled bodies on his wagon. So
yeah,
he wasn't
honestly
asking many
didn't
questions.
he didn't give
So
anything.
sweet.
So sweet. The following August comes and goes and still no signs of where Jonathan Bell might have fled to. The papers are now saying that there is very little chance he will be brought to justice. His family was left to depend on money from a charity in the community for them, but they had to leave their home and seek refuge with other relatives. He had like five children.
Wow.
Some papers even suggested that he changed his name to H, I'm guessing in reference to hell, and that the hypocrite should be given a seat in the hottest corner.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I just was like, the hypocrite should be given a seat in the hottest corner.
The hottest corner in hell?
That's a reference.
That's crazy.
I know. I was just like, wow, that's such a sentence.
They just hated him.
Yep. I wasn't able to find anything else in the papers about police ever finding him. However, I found him on Ancestry.com.
Wow. Really? Him?
Yep.
Shout out our unofficial sponsor of this podcast.
I know.
It really
it's our
helped
new favorite
both
thing.
of us this week.
It really did. Yeah. And I found some of his comings and goings through census records and family records, which is so fun.
So police couldn't find him, but he was still filling out the census?
Guess so.
Crazy.
We can also see on Ancestry that the child his wife was giving birth to during the month of August of 1894 was named Florence Gertrude Bell, which is a really cute name. I had to put that in there. On Ancestry, you can see also that she was the only girl who survived infancy out of all the kids that they would later have.
Wow.
The next record of him is in 1899, so 4 years later, showing the birth of a son named Arthur with the same wife. But this time, the birth of his son is listed as Highland Park, Jefferson County, Kentucky, USA.
Right.
So he took off to USA.
And it's the same husband and wife.
Same Jonathan Bell with his wife.
That's how you're tracking it. Interesting.
In 1900, there's a record of his permanent residence being there in Jefferson County in Kentucky, and his occupation is listed as Baptist minister. So he basically took off to the U.S., took up residence.
His wife later joined him.
Mailed out to his wife.
Yeah.
She joined him with all the kids, had more kids.
Wow.
He went right back to it, almost like nothing happened. 3 years later, though, in 1903, he did die of an unknown cause at the age of 46 and was buried somewhere in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
Louisville, sorry. Never seemingly had to answer for his participation in what happened with poor Emma Hall. But
I guess because in Detroit, they sent word to England to try and arrest this guy over there, but he had disappeared.
He
had actually gone back
to the U.S.
Was, sneaking right behind them.
Yeah, but he was filling out census records. He was a minister again.
There was definitely no coordination between different states.
Clearly, and he knew
counties.
that. Yeah, so he just was like, all right, I'll just go back to America.
The census. They're not, and no one's looking at the census and being like, isn't that the same man that I saw in
no one is.
Paper 10 years ago?
Not until Ancestry came around. And the fact that, his wife kind of followed him there. But to be fair, I guess they had a bunch of kids at this point.
Yeah.
They had no money.
Yeah.
If he's like, hey, come to Kentucky, I'll send...
I can become a minister there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I kind of understand it, so I'm not judging her. But I hope at least, though, she never let him live it down a day in his life and made his life miserable until his death. But who knows?
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
Crazy.
And that's my story.
I love that you found that at the end.
Yeah.
You found him.
I found him.
Someone go arrest him.
Go get him.
Go get him. Kendra got him.
He's in the cemetery. Arrest him.
That's crazy. You're the only person.
That knows.
100%. You're the only person. No, you might not be the only person in the world. Sometimes people have probably gone back and done a little bit of research.
I mean, someone did fill out his ancestry tree, but...
You're out there and you know about his crimes. You are complicit in his crimes.
Arrest you.
Arrest you.
Arrest yourself.
100 years later, arrest yourself. Crazy.
I know.
Now it's time for...
Extra, extra.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Blake and Kendra got a couple little fun little tidbits they found while researching their stories that they want to share with you.
All right, my first extra today also comes out of the Blade newspaper from Nelphi, Utah. Okay. And the headline is, Ravages of Snakes and Wild Animals. The number of deaths in India caused by bites of wild animals and reptiles is on the increase. The deaths from snake bites last year were 21,000.
Oh,
and
my
in
goodness.
the same period, nearly 120,000 deadly snakes were killed. Wild animals caused the death of 2,800 persons in the same year. The tigers killed nearly 1,000. Leopards, 291. Wolves, 175. Bears, 121.
Oh my
and elephants,
goodness.
68.
What?
On the other hand, there are nearly 15,000 wild beasts that were killed, including nearly 1,300 tigers and more than 4,000 leopards.
These are insane statistics.
In addition to the loss of human life, nearly 90,000 head of cattle were destroyed. The bounties offered by the government seemed ineffectual to the decrease of the number of wild animals.
What is happening?
The world was insane.
That shouldn't be allowed.
I also loved that they had all the stats. They were like leopards, 291.
Someone was keeping
wolves,
track
175.
hard.
Bears, 121. Elephants, 68. Still dangerous.
Right
still
to
dangerous.
right to the number. That is wild.
Isn't that crazy?
That's scary.
Terrifying. The world was terrifying. The world was terrifying.
I'm so sad for them. Okay, my first one is from the Central Somerset Gazette in Wells, Somerset, England, July 13th, 1895. A Paris tragedy. Another sickly tragedy occurred in the Rue de Gerard, Paris. A draughtsman named Henry Hazard, aged 18, fell in love with Madame Jeanne Monin, a respectable girl, and the daughter of a widow who kept a dyer's shop. Madame Monin was forced to go into the country and left her daughter to mind the business. Taking advantage of this girl, admitted Hazard to the house. Irritated by the scandalous gossip of the neighbors, the pair resolved to commit suicide.
Whoa.
They began by taking an infusion of poppies, but as this had no effect, Jeanne requested her lover to shoot her with his revolver.
Oh my gosh.
The girl fell back and died immediately, but Hazard was still living when discovered.
Oh. We're
It's
we're
so
Romeo and Juliet, but then she's like, but you kill me. And then you're going to kill yourself, right?
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 No.
That's
No.
crazy. That's wild.
Right. So, yeah, I thought that was too crazy not to put
My
in.
next one is from the Evening World, a paper out of New York on Monday, March 5th, 1894. His nap cost him $213.
Ooh, expensive.
Saloon keeper Ratz's pockets rifled while he slept. Gebhard Ratz, a saloon keeper at 65th Street and Western Boulevard, made a complaint of grand larceny at the Yorkville Police Court today against William Froelich of 1863 Amsterdam Avenue and William Elling of 92 Amsterdam Avenue.
They're back going to rob them.
Amsterdam Avenue, like a wretched hive of scum and villainy, seems like. Ratz said he fell asleep in the rear room of his saloon yesterday, and when he awoke, he discovered that his pockets had been rifled of over $213. That's a lot of money to have in your pockets,
a lot of money.
by the way.
Yes,
I'm not
even
saying
today.
you're asking for it, but like $213 in your pockets?
Crazy.
I might take it.
Sure.
He learned from his son that the two prisoners had been in the place. Both prisoners denied the charge and were held for further ransom. Also, his son is like, it was those guys. What?
It was definitely the son, right?
Yeah, well, it definitely could have been the son.
Also, the whole time when you said rats, I was like, oh, rats just dragged out money from this guy's pocket. So I was confused that there was a guy named Rats.
Guy named Rats.
Yeah.
Did he get robbed by rats? It's tough. It's hard to say. It's been a long day.
I'm tired. So this one is also from the Central Somerset Gazette. Collapse of a bridge. 600 persons immersed. A bridge gave way at Bristol, Indiana, while a great crowd of people were on it watching a boat race, which was taking place on the river. 600 people were hurled into the water, the fall being about 40 feet.
Whoa, and no one died?
Nobody was drowned, but some 40 persons were injured by the falling timbers and brickwork. Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. 40
Nobody
feet
died.
into the water? Nobody died?
600 people on top of each other.
Somebody's getting fired. Somebody's getting fired.
Totally. I should do more research on that because that's crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So this next one was from the Evening World newspaper in New York in 1894.
Mm-hmm.
And this gave me kind of a heated rivalry sort of vibe, just with the innuendo.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was purposeful innuendo, but it's just kind of funny.
Okay.
Gormy and Mahoney pounded each other while on a spree.
It's giving
heated rivalry.
It's
giving ally. It's giving... James Gormley and David Mahoney, two men who live in that part of Williamsburg known as the North Side, were held in the Lee Avenue court today on charge of fighting. Gormley was once a well-known baseball player. I looked him up. He played for the Philadelphia Phillies back in the 1800s.
Crazy that was a thing.
It's just insane.
Mm-hmm.
The men were out together last night and drank freely. They played practical jokes on each other.
Cute.
And finally began quarreling in a saloon on Bedford Avenue.
Cute.
Armed with bottles, they adjourned to the sidewalk and banged each other vigorously for some minutes.
Vigorously?
Until policeman Farley came along and placed them both under arrest.
That's so funny.
In court this morning, they were both very penitient, but Justice Godage held them for examination.
I'm sure they kissed and made up, right?
They must
probably
have.
Kissed and made up.
It's just crazy.
That's crazy. That's so funny.
Banged each other vigorously.
If only they knew.
For some minutes.
This one's out of a paper called The Summit County Beacon from Akron, Ohio, March 24th, 1896. Was it an aerolite? This one's crazy.
Okay.
I feel like this is what people should be talking about this still.
People should be talking about this. I don't even know what it is yet.
People need to be talking about it.
So
just think of that while I say it. Something big falls on a Kentucky mountain and creates havoc. The people of this vicinity are much exercised over the report just received here that a large mass of stone and cinders looking substance has fallen on the side of Pine Mountain, which is located on Greasy Fork of the Kentucky River, about 25 miles from this place. Persons living in the vicinity say they were startled by a whirling sound and then a crash. Large stones and chunks of black substances came rolling down the side of the mountain, scattering in every direction.
UFO.
For hundreds of yards along the valley. The house of Mrs. Hester Yates on the mountainside was demolished and the logs scattered in every direction. This is a little bit sad. Mrs. Yates and family consisting of several small children were buried beneath the debris. The hard substance was over half buried in the mountainside, but striking a solid rock had burst into hundreds of pieces. People for miles around have turned out and are now searching for the bodies of Mrs. Yates and her children. Which is devastating.
Wait, what?
And
is that the end?
That's the end.
That's the end? An asteroid hit them or a UFO hit them?
I don't know. They're saying large stones and chunks of black substance. So, yeah, probably. Like
An asteroid fell out of the sky?
Hit a mountain, exploded. And just so we know, aerolite is an old term for like meteorite.
And then all the debris buried a local cabin and a bunch of children.
Yeah. Like, what are the chances of that? Okay.
That would be front page news.
Insane. Okay, so right below that one.
Stop.
Lightning strikes a church spire with fatal results.
What?
Like, what is happening?
What was happening on March 23rd?
24th. Oh, yeah, 23rd, yes.
What was happening on March 23rd, 1896?
1896. News of a most remarkable occurrence has been received here from Beaver County. This is from Oklahoma, I guess.
Occurrence is kind of funny because an electrical current anyway.
Oh, that is kind of funny. At the little post office town of Grand, the Baptist congregation is building a handsome church surmounted by a spire 75 feet high. James Ford, Harry Summers, painters were employed, or maybe that's two people. James Ford, Harry Summers, painters were employed to oil and paint the spire. Saturday, while they were Saturday, while they were giving the finishing touches to the top of the spire, a thunderstorm came up, accompanied by fierce flashes of lightning. After a terrible clap of thunder, a blinding flash of lightning struck the spire, knocking away the painters' scaffolding, splitting the spire, and leaving Summers and Ford on the roof dead.
Yep.
The clothing of the two men was ignited by the flash, and for 10 minutes, the bodies were seen burning and smoking in midair. Rain finally extinguished the flames, and 3 hours later, the remains of the painters were brought down, charred and almost unrecognizable.
Whoa.
My brain exploded reading those two together.
That's crazy.
I would read that and be like,
what is happening?
The world is falling apart.
We're being smited. It's literally like God's just like, dead.
Isn't that wild?
Wow.
I know. But yeah, was it an aerolite thing?
Was it an aerolite is crazy.
Crazy.
That's a UFO.
Something big falling on a Kentucky mountain.
I like how they say falling, not like shooting from the sky.
They also didn't have a lot of the information that we have these days. So they were probably like, what is happening?
That is wild.
Yeah.
Well, Kendra.
Yes.
I think we're going to leave it there.
That's
nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ghost of the Gazette, where we will be posting photos and clippings from today's episode.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. At Ghost of the Gazette. You can also follow us and support us on TikTok.
Tink Tonk.
For our next episode, we will be jumping to
1912.
Let us know in the comments if you think it was an aerolite.
If you think it was an aerolite or it was God smiting the people of that town.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You can email us with your answer at
ghostofthegazette at gmail.com. Thank you again for stepping back in time with us, and thank you for listening. Until next time.
Bye. Ghost of the Gazette is written, produced, and haunted by Blake Garby and Kendra Clark. Original theme by Kelly Steinhoff.